Yo, what's up guys, Starry right here, and welcome back to another NFL video. Today we're going to be talking about the first games of Wildcard weekend. Now there was only two games today, the 49ers versus the Seahawks and the Chargers versus the Jaguars. Now coming into these two games, I was confident that the 49ers were going to take care of business, and I was also confident that the Chargers were going to, have a really close game with the Jacksonville Jaguars and win it. However, that Chargers game was a complete roller coaster and it did not go any way that I envisioned it at all. And we're gonna go ahead and start with that game first because that game was just crazy. It was really crazy. To start off the game, Trevor Lawrence throws an interception, and then that's followed up with the Chargers scoring a touchdown, and then there's another interception that's followed up by a field goal from the Chargers. And yeah, that was very crazy because I don't think anybody saw that coming. Like we didn't see two interceptions from Trevor Lawrence back to back to start the game. Like I said, I picked the Chargers to win this game, but I didn't expect that. I didn't expect them to be that explosive. I don't think anyone saw that coming. Like, who could have imagined that there would be two interceptions by Trevor Lawrence within the first 5 minutes of the game? So yeah, that was very crazy. And then another interception happens from Trevor Lawrence, and then that's followed up by another touchdown from the Chargers. So the Chargers started off very, very hot, and Trevor Lawrence and the Jaguars just looked like they were just crumbling. Like it just looked like they were not prepared for this game at all. There was just so many mistakes, so many just missed opportunities offensively, and yeah, I mean, they couldn't really compete defensively as well. The whole team was just kind of shell-shocked and just kind of didn't know what to do because everything was just crumbling. Everything that could go wrong went wrong times 1,000. And yeah, the Chargers looked really good as well. They're pushing the ball down the field. They had a couple plays later they score a touchdown, and yeah, by halftime it is 27-7. However, even though the Chargers were really in control of this for the first half, I wasn't convinced with them. I really wasn't convinced. I'll throw up a tweet right now, but the Chargers were just there was too many mistakes for me where I could see the writing on the wall where the Jaguars can do a comeback. And for me, I think the Chargers problem started in the first half where the Jaguars got a punt and they muffed it, and then the Chargers got the ball back, and during that possession the Chargers didn't do anything with great field position and they scored a field goal, and that made it 27-0. After that, their next possession would be 3 and out, and on the last possession of the game, the Jacksonville Jaguars did score a touchdown that made it 27-7. And at this point, this is when I was starting to get scared because Justin Herbert, even though he was playing pretty good and he was making very great plays, there was a lot of plays where his balls were just getting batted down and he was kind of overthrowing receivers and just not being 100% accurate like we really expect him to be. And that did leave me feeling a little weird because, like I said, there was 3 and outs where it was very, very quick. Very quick at 3 and outs, 1 minute possessions or sometimes even less. And those were very scary to me because even though the Jaguars were struggling so hard, they're still a very, very good team. You got to respect them, and you got to think that they can do a comeback. It was only the first half. It wasn't even halftime, and they were having some offensive problems, and I saw it, and I was very, very scared. And even though Trevor Lawrence threw 4 interceptions or 3 interceptions, at that point, you just still got to respect him and think that, you can't take the foot off the gas. And I just felt like Justin Herbert and the Chargers offensively just were struggling. They started to struggle a bit, and at the end of the half, the Jaguars scored a touchdown, and I think this is really where the momentum changed, where I feel like the Jaguars felt like they were still in this game, and rightfully so that the Jaguars feel that way, because how many times have we talked about a tale of two halves, where one half a team starts off very bad, and then the second half they start off really good and they come back and do just amazing comeback. And that's kind of what happened in this game. The Chargers get the ball, it's a 7-play drive and it ends in a punt, and then after that the Jaguars get the ball, it's a touchdown, and then following that touchdown is the last time the Chargers scored the ball, and it was a field goal, 7-play drive for 45 yards, and it ended in a field goal. And then after that, the Jaguars scored a touchdown, and then the Chargers had a missed field goal where I think they should have went for it. It was 4th and 3. I think they should have went for it. They were pushing the ball pretty decently, And I think that's the point where you gotta kind of go for the stomp, because at that point it was 30-20, and I think they really needed to, just kind of get the momentum back. And I think if they get a touchdown here, the momentum switches 100%. You can't tell me that the momentum doesn't switch at all. They get a touchdown here, the game's back in their favor, but they didn't. They went for a field goal and they missed, and yeah, it was 30-20. And then directly after that, it's a touchdown for the Jaguars, and that makes it 28-30. And like I said, it was 28-30, so they had to get the 2-point conversion, and they got it because of Joey Bosa getting a penalty for throwing his helmet on the floor. And at that point, the Chargers were done. At that point, I knew the Chargers were done because they were just crumbling, that they were frustrated. They were so frustrated and so mad, and they couldn't do anything. They really couldn't do anything. The offense was really out there for they had a few long drives in the second half, 6-minute drive, but that was the missed field goal. So they had a few drives didn't even pass 5 minutes. Like it was very, very short, 7 plays at the max. And then, I feel like all the momentum started to switch there, where the Jaguars were going on long drives, 7 minutes, 2 minutes and a touchdown. Like the Jaguars started to click, and Joey Bosa getting that penalty really just killed all the momentum. And then when the Chargers get the ball back, it's a 3-play punt, and then that led to the Jaguars scoring the game-winning field goal. So yeah, man, I'm not that surprised that the Jaguars won this game, because the Chargers were really selling this game. Like I said, Justin Herbert wasn't playing amazing. There's a few plays where I just felt like he was going for the big play instead of just getting the first down. And yeah, it just felt like in the second half and a little bit in the first half that some of these plays and some of these drives were just like nothing was there, and they couldn't get any momentum going there, and it just felt like they were starting to lose their spark. And I think those plays, I think if the Jaguars do not have those turnovers in the beginning, this is a very completely different game. The Jaguars are in this game, and I feel like the Chargers are not in this game, because we've seen that these drives that they went on, that most of them didn't really produce any touchdowns. They only had a few drives where it didn't come off a turnover to score a touchdown or a field goal. The offense was very, very stagnant. And once the Jaguars offense started to catch momentum, the Chargers defense really couldn't keep up with them. They couldn't get any stops. So yeah, like I said, I wasn't surprised with this Jaguars comeback. It was there. The writing was on the wall 100%. With these 3 and outs that the Chargers had, they really needed to start producing points. And that's where I think they really lost this game. They had too many 3 and outs. The defense was just tired and frustrated. There were some missed calls for sure, but I felt like the Chargers were getting a lot of calls in the beginning of the game. So yeah, this game was very, very stressful and probably frustrating for the Chargers, because things were going very well in the first half, and once things started to go wrong in the second half, I feel like they lost all composure 100%. And they really looked like two different teams. So yeah, that's kind of my thoughts about this game. I am sad because I did pick the Chargers to go to the Super Bowl, and I can't tell you how happy I was. If you look at my Twitter, you'll see some of those tweets that I had. I was on cloud 9. I was so happy with the way the Chargers are playing. But then I saw some of those errors, and I kind of, tampered my feelings. But, I also want to give credit to the Jaguars, Doug Peterson, and especially Trevor Lawrence. Having all those things go wrong for you in the beginning of the game and still come back and win this game 27-0. They were at 27-0 at one point in this game, and they came all the way back to win this game. You got to give credit to just the Jaguars, the whole team, but especially Trevor Lawrence, man, because I feel like that you got to be different. You really got to be different to throw those interceptions at such the start of the game. Man, that's crazy. I don't know how he did it, because I feel like a lot of QBs probably would have been frazzled a bit, because that's just kind of this is your first playoff experience, and everything just crumbles. Everything just starts to go wrong, but you fight back and you persevere, and you win this game. I feel like the confidence just goes crazy, and I feel like this Jaguars team is super good. And shout out to Doug Peterson going for it on 4th and 1. What an amazing play, and that led to them winning this game. They went for it early on in this game. They went for it on a 4th down, and I was kind of confused about it. I wasn't feeling it, but They went for it at the end, and it was perfect. It was really, really perfect. And yeah, shout out to Doug Peterson for just keeping those guys really locked into this game, and having them believe that they could win this game, because I don't know, man. I think I feel like a lot of teams really crumble in this situation, but they didn't. So yeah, shout out to the Jaguars. They are moving on, and yeah, we gotta see what the Chargers do. I feel like Brandon Staley has to be gone, man. I just the way this team crumbled, I don't know, man. Joey Bosa lost his mind. Justin Herbert didn't look good towards the end. Yeah, it was just kind of crazy. The Chargers, we got to see what they do in this offseason, but something has to be done. Now let's go ahead and switch gears and talk about the Seahawks versus the 49ers. Now this game was a lot of fun. I did pick the 49ers to win this game, but I was rooting for the Seahawks 100% because I just loved the Geno Smith underdog story. I can't lie, I really loved it, and I kind of wanted him to see him do the upset. I knew that it was very unlikely, but I wanted to see the upset, and at points of this game it actually looked like there was going to be an upset. In the first half, the Seattle Seahawks were keeping up with the 49ers. At halftime it was 17-16, and Seattle was actually winning. And in the first half, Geno Smith was playing really, really well. I felt like he was playing probably the best he can be in that situation, where he was playing one of the best defenses in the league, but he was really making plays, especially the DK throw, where that was just kind of crazy. I didn't expect that at all. It just looked crazy, but DK just beat the man, and he had a touchdown all the way. It was crazy though, because I think it came on a third down. It was a 3rd and 3, 50-yard pass from Geno Smith. It was crazy, but that was a touchdown play. And at that point I was like, man, if they can do a little bit more of these splash plays, they have a chance. They really have a chance to be in this game. And I was feeling that way because, if I'm being honest, Brock Purdy didn't play a good game in the first half. I'll just be honest. That's kind of just my way of viewing it. I thought he was inaccurate a lot, and I felt like there was plays that he wasn't making the right decisions. Now in the second half, that completely changed. I'll be 100% honest. I think Brock Purdy played an amazing game in the second half. He was accurate. He was making the correct decisions, and I just felt like, and he was making plays. He was honestly making plays. Now sometimes I felt like he didn't need to make a play. What I'm talking about is he was rolling out of the pocket to the left, and sometimes I felt like he didn't really have to do that. But when he did, he was making plays, and he looked really confident in the second half. And obviously he's benefited by having CMC, who's just making crazy plays, just running the ball just tremendously like CMC does. But he also had Deebo Samuel just making amazing plays as well. And everybody just kind of felt like it just felt like the 49ers were being the 49ers and just being dominant, as we kind of expected. And yeah, the Seahawks really did struggle. And I think what really sold this game away was when Geno Smith fumbled the ball. That's what really cost Seattle the game, and that just changed the whole momentum. And then after that, they kind of struggled a lot, and then there was an interception by Geno, and that was basically the game. So the defense really stepped up for them in the second half and just stopped the Seattle Seahawks 100%. And yeah, that was the game. 49ers just really took care of business like we all expected. Not really much to say about this game. It wasn't drama filled. The first half was, but in the second half, they took over defensively, and offensively they just did 49er things. So yeah, that was the first games of playoff football. We had two really good games, I would say, entertaining at least. The first one, Seattle versus the 49ers, I think we all expected it, but shout out to the Seattle Seahawks for making this game very interesting in the first half. And the last game, Chargers versus Jaguars, was just a roller coaster of a game, but it was fun regardless, no matter who you were going for. I felt like you could have enjoyed that game. Well, maybe not the Jaguar fans, because I bet that was very stressful, but I feel like everybody else could have really enjoyed that game. So yeah, that's going to be it for this video. I will be doing more playoff recaps, so make sure you like and subscribe if you enjoyed this video and want to hear some more about my picks. And make sure you also follow me on Twitter, because I live tweet these games and I just give you my raw thoughts, and sometimes I joke around and put some memes out there. So yeah, make sure you check out my Twitter. Link is in the description. All my links in the description. And yeah, leave a comment and tell me how you feel about the first games. How do you feel? Mainly, I want to know how you feel about the Chargers just collapse. Let me know how you feel about that. Anyways, thanks for watching. I hope to see you in the next video. Goodbye.